day everyone, I am Mimi Navarro, and for today's video, our team agreed to inform you all about economic integration. So what's economic integration, by the way? So economic integration is the process of arrangements between regions to reduce or eliminate the trade barriers and to coordinate monetary and fiscal policies with a common purpose of increasing the trade to those countries involved. And each of us are divided to explain the agreements between countries, the benefits, and the factors of economic integration. One of the agreements or process of arrangements include the reduction or elimination of trade barriers. So what do we mean by trade barriers? Trade barriers are government-induced restrictions on international trade, in which it imposes a financial burden on imports. In other words, trade barriers are your taxes and tariffs. Therefore, through economic integration, we could now reduce the cost of our imports and exports, leading to a more interconnected global economy as well as the increase of trade.
Hi, I am Jane Ellen A. Batuya and I am here to talk about the monetary and fiscal policy. So let's get to know about monetary and fiscal policy. Monetary policy is primarily concerned with the management of interest rates and total supply of money in circulation, and it is generally carried out by central banks. It is formed and managed by the central banks of a country, and such a policy is concerned with the management of money supply and interest rates in an economy. This policy can influence the economy by raising and lowering interest rates and by buying and selling securities. While fiscal policy is a collective term for the taxing and spending actions of governments. It is related to the way a government is managing the aspects of spending and taxation. This policy includes issues like how much the government spends on infrastructure or pay towards public benefits like unemployment or how much people and businesses pay in taxes. This is an example on how monetary and fiscal policy work together. These policies affects the expansion of a business by providing loans and lower tax rates. Although monetary and fiscal policy use different tools, they typically have similar goals, including low unemployment, slow and steady inflation, and a stable economy. In economic integration, monetary and fiscal policy will determine the extent and limitations of the products being exported and imported from one country to the other country.
Hello everyone, this is John Villegas, and for today's video, I will be talking about increased trade. To begin, let us first define trade. So what is trade? Trade is a basic economic concept involving the buying and selling of goods and services with compensation paid by a buyer to a seller, or the exchange of goods or services between parties. So there are factors that affect trade. So these are factor endowments and productivity, trade policy, exchange rates, foreign currency reserves, inflation, and demand. So these factors can be trade barriers and can lessen trade. So to lessen or eliminate the trade barriers, we have this process or arrangement called economic integration. With this, there would be an increase in trade. So what does it mean to increase trade? An improvement or increase in a country's term of trade generally indicates that export prices have gone up as import prices have either maintained or dropped. Conversely, export prices might have dropped but not as significantly as import prices. In technical terms, they are the increase of consumer surplus plus producer surplus from lower tariffs.
Good day everyone, I'm Queenie Bibsonados and my topic for today is about how economic integration improve the allocation of natural resources. So first of all, what is natural resources? Natural resources are materials from the earth that are used to support and meet people's needs, such as oil, coal, natural gas, stone, and many more. And as we all know, natural resources are part of the real wealth of nations. They are the natural capital out of which other forms of capital are made of. Natural sources can contribute to the country's economic status. That means more natural sources we have, the lesser the poverty. This can only be true if we could maximize the potential of our own natural sources by trading, exporting, or importing goods and products to the other country. Coconut oil, wood crafts, electronic products are some of the Philippines' main exports. So, how does exporting and importing goods affect the economy of a certain country? First, it increases their standard of living. Exporting and importing helps grow national economies. It expands the global market and lesser number of unemployed citizens.
Hello everyone, this is Bliss Marie Absani from BSE Designs 1B1. Today, I will discuss about promoting technology transfer as one of the purpose of economic integration. Before everything else, let me define first what is technology transfer.
Technology transfer is the movement of data, designs, inventions, materials, software, technical knowledge, or trade secrets from one organization to another or from one purpose to another. Technology transfer takes place in various contexts, including universities, businesses, and governments. Economic integration promotes technology transfer in a way that it reduces or eliminates trade barriers, allowing the smooth transfer of technology among nations. Technology transfer is possible because economic integration overcomes limitations and access to a larger range of development options open to larger economies and technologically advanced countries.
Hello everyone, I'm Christine Darrow. Today's topic is all about enhanced living standard. So what is enhanced living standard? Standard of living generally refers to wealth, comfort, material goods, and necessities of certain classes in certain areas, or more objective characteristics, whereas quality of life is more subjective and intangible, such as personal liberty or environmental quality. The idea of a standard may be constructed with a quality of life, which takes into account not only the material standard of living, but also other more intangible aspects that make up human life, such as leisure, safety, cultural resources, social life, physical health, and environmental quality issues.
Hello everyone, I am Rusty Cantero and we are going to talk about regional integration. So, what is regional integration? Regional integration is a process in which neighboring countries enter into an agreement in order to upgrade cooperation through common institutions and rules. This means that the integrating states would actually become a new country, or in other words, total integration. Now, let's tackle about the advantages of regional integration. So first, improve market efficiency, share the cost of public goods and large infrastructure projects, decide policy cooperatively and have an anchor to reform, have a building block for global integration, and lastly, reap other non-economic benefits such as peace and security. And now, let's talk about the disadvantages of regional integration. First, inefficient trade diversion from productive exporters to less capable exporters, employment shifts and reductions, loss of national sovereignty, And lastly, leads to decreased trade and investment with less expensive markets outside the region.
Hello guys, my name is Kimberly Giparag, and for today's video, we're going to tackle about trade liberalization. I'm going to give the meaning of the trade liberalization, some examples, and the advantages and disadvantages of trade liberalization. Let's go and get into the video. These are the key takeaways of trade liberalization. Trade liberalization removes or reduces the barriers or trade among countries, such as tariffs and quotas. Having fewer barriers to trade reduces the cost of goods sold in importing countries. Trade liberalization can benefit stronger economies but put weaker ones at a greater disadvantage. So what is trade liberalization? Trade liberalization is the removal or reduction of restrictions, of barriers, and the free exchange of goods between nations. This barrier includes tariffs such as duties and surcharges, and non-tariff barriers such as licensing rules and quotas. Economists after view the easing of eradication of these restrictions as steps to promote free trade. The advantages and disadvantages of trade liberalization. Advantages. It promotes free trade, which allows countries to trade goods without regulatory barriers or their associated costs. It opens more opportunities for businesses. While the disadvantage side of trade liberalization, it negatively affects businesses because of the greater competition between foreign goods and also the local goods. For example, in the Philippines, we love eating rice, right? Filipinos love eating rice, but because of trade liberalization, a lot of foreign goods come in our country, and we tend to forget that local goods exist, and we tend to buy more foreign goods. That's why the competition between the foreign goods and the local goods is very high, and this leads to the negative effect or disadvantage effect. So, this is all for the trade liberalization, and I hope you guys learned something.
Hi everyone, this is Alexis Cañado Cabiso, and we will be talking about the foreign direct investments, which is also known as the FDI. So FDI is a category of a cross-border investments which an investor resident from one economy establishes a lasting interest and a significant degree of influence over an enterprise residents of another economy. Foreign direct investments can be made in a variety of ways, including opening a subsidiary or associate company in a foreign country, acquiring a control interest in an existing foreign company, or by means of a merger or a joint venture with a foreign company. One of the largest examples of foreign direct investment is the Chinese initiative known as the One Belt One Road. We can also take, for example, the Build program of the Philippines, wherein the huge investors of that program is the China. I will be showing you the pros and cons of foreign direct investments.
Hi, this is Miss Evangelio, and I'm going to talk about one of the factors of economic integration, and that is privatization. Let's get started. Can a government-owned business be transferred to a private sector? Definitely, it's a yes. And it can be done through privatization. Then what is privatization? Privatization simply means the transferring of ownership, property, or business from a government to a private sector. This is to Here are some of the pros and cons of privatization. So in a broader sense, it generally helps government save money and increase efficiency.
Hello everyone, so for today's video, we are going to talk about the regulation, which is the fifth factor in economic integration. Here in the regulation, there is limited intervention of the government towards trade, businesses, and corporations around its sovereignty. Take note that it is limited, which means the free will of the people will also prevail in creating new businesses and corporations. Government has no control over private corporations, not unless there are laws or rules violated by the company, which is why it is limited intervention. Here in the regulation, it will then result into a free market system, which means it will create an economy where it allows the market to decide the prices of goods and services by way supply and demand. And of course, it will be based on the individual's preferences by his or her wants or needs. So that would be all for the regulation. This is April Jinji Palabing, and thank you for watching.